Hi everyone. Today's oh, hang on, that's a bit much, isn't it? We'll pop a cap on just to save you from the shining light there. So really important day today because we're making a change from just carrying on to complete the course, which we will do later on, and certainly sort of large parts of it, but probably once we've got back into school, hopefully. Whilst we're in lockdown, I want to really make sure that you're all as focused as possible on getting the best score you possibly can in the mock, which should happen at some point quite soon after we get back. Hopefully we'll get back soon after half term. So what we're going to do is every lesson we're going to concentrate on something. There's going to be 12 pure lessons. There's going to be 5 statistics and 6 for mechanics as well, and I'll mix that up a little bit. We won't just do 12 pure, but we're going to start off with a bit of partial fractions, which was something we did towards the end of the summer term on lockdown before. So if what I'm doing now is going to be a fairly short video that I'm going to set, if that's all really confusing and you think, what the flip are you talking about here, I don't remember this, then I will also put a link on to the playlist of 6 different lessons that I did on algebraic methods and partial fractions. And the one the question I'm going to look at today, and then the other question that you're going to have a go at, is a repeated factor question, which was part E. So it was 1E from that. Anyway, we'll get cracking and see how it goes, and email me if you've got any real issues over it. But hopefully either this video or else, if need be, if you need to go back to those, then at least there's a link for you to do that. Okay. Right, so we're going to look at 2 questions today. Well, I'm going to show you one, and then I'm going to ask you to have a go at another one and to upload your answers to that to me using class charts, or if need be on the email. Right, so this is called a repeated factor because we've got x squared, and that could be expressed in a partial fraction with 3 different denominators over x times x and x plus 1, what's in the bracket there. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to consider that in order to get that, if you had this and you were going to work back towards that, you would need to multiply a by x so that you got your denominator to be x squared, but also by the x plus 1. B would just need to be multiplied by x plus 1, and C would need to be multiplied by the x squared, that I can just write like that. Now if we did all of that, we would have the same denominator underneath. So that denominator would be x squared over x plus 1. But normally when we're doing these questions, we don't even bother writing that, because that's going to give us, that same denominator is going to give us 7x squared plus 2x take 2. So at that point, we can just say, well, we don't even need to, we can just we have multiplied both sides by that in the first place. So we've got rid of that. And the next thing we can do is we can look to get rid of everything apart from the c's on this left hand side by letting x equal -1. The reason for that is so that this factor is, this factor here, this bracket, is worth 0. That will mean that whatever this is times a is going to be 0, whatever this is times b is going to be 0. So we're just going to be left with c times x squared, but we know that x is -1, so I'm going to put just there as my working, and I'm going to have 7 times -1 squared plus 2 times -1 take 2 at the end. And if I multiply that out, negative 1 squared is just 1, isn't it? So that'll give me c, that's 1 as well. So I'm going to have 7, 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, take 2 again, which is the same as taking 4. So that gives me c as being equal to 3. Now, I can do a similar idea to make this one equal to 0 and this one equal to 0 if x is 0, because that's just a factor of what's in both of those terms, isn't it? So we're going to let x equal 0 on the next part, and if x equals 0, then that's worth nothing. This b is 0 plus 1, isn't it? And then the cx squared is also worth 0. And then 7x squared is going to be worth 0, 2x will be worth 0, so we're just equal to minus 2. So 0 plus 1 is 1, isn't it? 1 times b is 1b, so b is equal to negative 2. Now that we've found two of them, we've already used both these factors that make a equal to 0, but what we can do is something even simpler, and we can go back in and we can say, well, I know what c is now, I know what b is. So I've got, but in order to do that, I need to get these terms multiplied up as well. So I'm going to have if I multiply out that bracket, that's going to give me ax squared plus ax. If b is equal to negative 2, I'm just going to put that in there now like that, and c is equal to 3, then we get all of this going on. Now actually the simplest, and I'm going to look to make it as simple as possible, and the simplest thing possible is looking at the coefficient of x squared, because I've got a times x squared and I've got 3 times x squared there. So this many x squareds plus 3x squared is making 7x squared. Therefore a must equal 4. And you can go through and work out that actually does also work for the number of x's and the number of numbers, but it just takes a little bit of multiplying out. Okay, that's all of our example for today. We've got our a equals 4, b equals negative 2, and c equals 3. What I'd like you to do now is have a go at this question, which can be found on page 20 of the Year 2 textbook. And I would like you to upload to me your working for how you work out what D, E and F are. Okay, and a reminder, if you are totally confused by this, you will need to go back to the playlist link that I've also put on Class Charts for you. Alright, let me know how you get on. Cheerio.